Labrīt visiem!
Hello everyone, good morning. My name is Dace Akula. I'm the expert of civil society, and I'm glad to see you here on this beautiful Friday morning here in this room, because it makes me hope that you are interested in this topic and getting involved in this very valuable conversation about which this conversation will be. And those who are watching us from Facebook and other networks can watch a part of this conversation directly wherever in the world they are. And why did I put this picture in the presentation that you see in the background? Because I believe that this conversation is about how to not get lost in and not to get overworked in civil society organizations and how it happens in Latvia. We are doing a very valuable work to serve the interests of society, and we're trying to focus on the sustainable development of the society and the goals of the civil society. We are trying not to get too tired and how to manage our work. We also want to know that our main cooperation partners are supporting us. Here I mean the support in the largest meaning of the word. I also mean the time and the effort that is invested, also about the part of the society that is taking the decisions in this field, like NGOs, like members of the parliament, and I'm glad that one of them is also here. Thank you, Mr. Jansons, for coming. Of course, it is also the support of the inhabitants of this country, without which we could not do anything. And those are enterprises and the media that we cooperate with to manage to do anything at all. Why do we organize this conversation this year? Because this year in Latvia is a turning point, because we have a tax policy reform here in this country this year. And these changes will make donating and supporting organizations, NGOs, from the part of enterprises less interesting. What I mean by that is I don't want to offend anyone, no enterprises or people, by saying that we only want money and the only motivation they have is the tax reductions they get from donating. But the policy to promote philanthropy and donating tradition as such, it is one of the ways how a country can say that donating is a good thing, and whoever you donate to, money, time, or any other products, that it is very valuable. And every step that hardens and makes this procedure more difficult makes people doubt whether we understand about what we're talking about, because it's not about the fact that Dace Akula needs work or anyone else in this room needs work, but that we need sustainable development in this country, which is more visible than 2 or 3 years ago. And this is needed in the level of European Union, not only in this country. And here we have a huge importance of NGOs to promote this. And so if the system is not sufficiently organized for the donors, then they won't want to get involved in the work of NGOs with their resources or money or time. Then this is how we damage our own work and our own situation, because then we cannot cooperate and get the objectives that we want to achieve. Also in Latvia, Estonia, and Sweden, and in the region of the Baltic Sea and in the European Union, we need to promote cooperation and a society that we want to live in. And this is how we want to inspire other people with our example. to try to live in a sustainable way and learn from us. As you understood, yes, we are going to talk about donations from people, from enterprises. Later on, we are going to talk about the state support to the NGOs and to the civil society. But all this is in the context of civil society and the sustainable development. We are here because this is the place where we can generate new ideas and where we can show that decisions are not made correctly and are not sufficiently thought through, and these organizations will help us to understand the bigger picture from the different perspectives of the groups of society and the general interests of society, not only the narrow interests of enterprises or some personal interests. Because when I talk about NGOs, I recognize the huge variety among these organizations, which is, of course, very good, and this should be celebrated, and this is about culture and sport and people that provide very specific support, for example, for women who suffer from violence or children who suffer from violence and who have been forced to leave their families and live with the support of different organizations. But of course we must talk about the Civic Alliance of Latvia, that is the main leader of this conversation, trying to achieve that the NGOs have a good environment for development, that they have proper regulations and the resources needed for the development and work of NGOs. Here I am talking about the organization that I have worked for 10 years, the Praxis think tank. And all of these organizations is a big family. Praxis is in Estonia, and here in Latvia we have a similar organization. We are trying to analyze the situation and see the bigger picture and promote decisions that are based on knowledge for the interests of the society. And about this topic, I wanted to finish the introduction with telling about the civic society in Latvia. And in Estonia, we have a similar equivalent that is fighting for the rights of civil society and the development of civil society. Here they are analyzing different aspects like regulations and other aspects for the development. Here we also have many inspiring colleagues from Sweden, the Global Challenge organization, that is working with the global challenges, of course, and two other colleagues that can share many similar thoughts and inspirations about the situation in the field of financial aspects of the NGOs and what the situation is in Sweden. As you understood, we are going to discuss many different questions. We have a lot to say, and one of the problems and issues is whether we are going to have time to talk about the main question, but we are also interested in the development of regions, and so we are thankful that this initiative is supported by the Nordic Council of Ministers and their representatives in Latvia. And we are thankful to all the other partners that are sitting here or somewhere else, without whom we could not organize this meeting in the House of the European Union, and with the interpreters from the Latvian Union that help us, Latvian University, sorry, and also all the other partners that are helping us, like the catering company. Of course, the company of transmitting this meeting online. So everyone has donated something to help this happen. And this is a good example of how a project of cooperation can result in something very good if we know where to ask for help to